Hello and welcome to the viewers of this video. This is the Orange Fan here, bringing you another entry for the episode Recap and Thoughts category. This video will be dedicated to the FUNimation dub of episode 34 of Dragonball Super. This episode begins where we last left off, with Goku being thrown out of the ring by Frost, which means Frost won the match. Chi-Chi then actually rushes to Goku's side to see if he's all right, and then Frost approaches Goku and congratulates him for putting up a great fight, saying how he was such a worthy opponent that he had to strive to be a better fighter than he'd been before. He shakes hands with Goku, and everyone thinks that it's a nice show of sportsmanship. So with Goku out, that means Piccolo is next as the Universe 7 representative. Though neither Goku or Vegeta think that Piccolo will be able to put up much of a fight against Frost, and they think at best he'll just soften Frost up for Vegeta when he fights against the Universe 6 counterpart to Frieza. Despite this, Piccolo still intends to actually win against Frost, and his strategy involves something he did before at the start of Dragon Ball Z, or in the Saiyan saga. Because back at that point, when he and Goku teamed up to fight Raditz, Piccolo was weaker than Raditz at that point, but he still managed to defeat him using the Special Beam Cannon. And that's what Piccolo intends to do here. He decides, rather than try to play around or anything like that, Piccolo's big strategy is to fully power up his Special Beam Cannon and use it to finish off Frost in one hit. So he's got the two fingers on his forehead. He's ready to prepare the attack, but Frost is doing everything in his power to try and get Piccolo to break his concentration. But Piccolo shows that he has a lot of tricks up his sleeve as well. One good example is that he actually uses his duplication technique. For those unfamiliar, in the anime for Dragon Ball Z at least, I don't know about the manga, but I know for sure in the anime, Piccolo was able to clone himself in a sense, so like a sparring partner. But here he has like a whole army of Piccolos. But it's more so done to get Frost to play a find the needle in the haystack sort of situation, try to figure out who the real Piccolo is. And it goes through an intense, it's pretty much a whole back and forth of, can Piccolo keep his concentration and charge the attack up while Frost tries to distract him? And it gets pretty intense, but eventually Piccolo manages to use his arm stretching ability. So, you know, that technique where he acts like Stretch Armstrong, and he manages to trap Frost. So he intends to pin Frost down and then hit him with the Special Beam Cannon. And, while I was mentioning this, Jocko actually decided to sit with Vegeta and Goku and Beerus and Whis for this fight, saying that he could get a better look at it, and he catches something again. Now, while Frost is all wrapped up in Piccolo's arm, he gets his right arm and he manages to sneak it into Piccolo's, where it's wrapped around him. And then suddenly Piccolo's acting all woozy and delirious, weary, whatever you want to call it, similar to how Goku was acting before he got the ring out. And while he doesn't ring out Piccolo, Frost does knock Piccolo out, but he's still alive, so the victory goes to Frost. But it's here where Jocko actually says that it shouldn't be allowed. He says that Frost cheated. Now, Choppa claims that Universe 7 are just being a bunch of sore losers, which is pretty hypocritical, as he was a sore loser about Batamo losing. And Jocko, though, says that his eyes are very perceptive, and he knows that Frost was using a weapon which isn't allowed. Ciampa begrudgingly allows the referee or the announcer, whatever you want to call him, to examine Frost and make sure the claim is true, saying he'll kill Jocko if it turns out his claim was wrong. And Vegeta and Beerus are both okay with that because they're like, oh, it's just Jocko, who cares about him? Sort of thing. The announcer checks, and sure enough, Jocko was telling the truth. Frost did cheat. Now, this surprises Kaba, the Universe 6 Saiyan, because he says he's fought alongside Frost in the name of peace, and they even fought in a battle for Planet Mayonnaise. Vados then reveals, though, the trickery and the deception, the cheating they saw, that is who Frost really is. As it turns out, Frost actually sets up these wars. He's also a intergalactic loan shark, I guess you could call him, similar to Frieza, but what he does is he has his criminal empire underlings start these wars, and then he, with his peacekeeping army, comes in and rescues everyone. Frost proceeds to gloat that, yeah, he's evil and he's proud of it, and how he, is very similar to Frieza in that regard. And Ciampa is quite furious. He actually questions why Vados would pick Frost to be on the team, but Vados just says that Ciampa didn't specify he wanted any fighters with morality, just strong fighters that would get the job done no matter what. So uses a case of exact words to justify her pick, and Ciampa actually intends to destroy Frost right there on the spot, and Piccolo's given the win since Frost cheated, but Vegeta actually intervenes. He wants Frost to stay because he wants to fight Frost himself, and he even strong-arms Piccolo into forfeiting just so he can fight Frost. And the episode ends right before we have the chance to see Vegeta and Frost's fight with each other. So I will say the beginning of the episode where Chi-Chi actually goes to check on Goku, that was rather sweet, and I really liked that moment. Because you do see a lot of people like to joke around about how Goku and Chi-Chi aren't the best of couples, but it's nice to have those moments that show, even with their disagreements and how they don't always see eye to eye in certain things, they do really care about each other, so that was quite sweet. And this was a nice showing for Piccolo too, because Piccolo didn't really get to fight during the Buu Saga, although he still was important in the Buu Saga, but he didn't really fight in it. He was more like on the sidelines, but he was kind of guiding Goten and Trunks along. And so, and well, he did fight a little in the Beerus Saga, though that didn't turn out well. And he did get to fight a bit in the Golden Frieza Saga, but as far as a one-on-one fight goes, it was nice to see that again from Piccolo. And Piccolo really did show his strategic side here, how he is more of a strategy-based fighter compared to, say, Goku or Vegeta. Though they still do have strategy, it was nice to see that Piccolo demonstrate that in his own way. And I thought it was a nice touch seeing Piccolo. His intention was similar to what he used to beat Raditz, a fully powered special beam cannon to just finish it all. And gotta give a hand to Piccolo. He was trying to finish the fight as quickly as he could, so props to the Namekian fighter. And now the reveal that Frost was evil all along. I know a lot of people were not happy about that, and I don't know if that died down since the initial reveal back when the sub airing aired for the people who are following along with the sub who didn't wait for the dub, and I don't know if that's still a prevalent thought or not, but I had some relatives watching with me, and they're following along with the dub, so they felt very betrayed when they saw Frost was evil all along. One of my relatives actually really hates Frost more than they hate Frieza, because they're like, at least Frieza's upfront about his villainy. Frost pretends he's nice, but he's really not, and That actually does bring up a pretty interesting debate. Who do you think is worse between Frieza and Frost? Because on one hand, you have Frieza who rules by fear, or you have Frost who rules with superfluential, or artificial charm, I should say. Yeah. Frost rules by artificial charm and manipulation, while Frieza rules by fear. Frieza is quite off his rocker, while so far Frost seems to be more sound of mind, at least more sane when you compare him to Frieza anyway. Oh, that does make for an interesting debate. But as for, what do I think about Frost being evil all along? Like, I personally don't have a problem with it because while it does make him similar to Frieza, he's still not exactly the same as Frieza because, like we established, Frieza was very blatant about how evil he was and he just threw his weight around freely, while Frost is more secretive and more like he tries to gain your trust and stabs you in the back sort of deal. So that was cool with me. I didn't mind that because at least Frost, he didn't feel like he was exactly an exact copy of Frieza. It was more like he's similar to Frieza, but still different enough where he's not a Frieza clone to me. So I didn't mind. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'd still like to see a member of Frieza's species that's good or benevolent. But I don't personally mind that Frost was evil all along, and I don't think that means we'll never see a Frieza species member that's good. There's still a chance that we could in future episodes. Universe 6 and Universe 7 both have Frieza species members, so I don't think, Frost is the only member of the species in Universe 6, so we might still have a chance to see one. Speaking of which, though, I really hope they give a name for Frieza's species one of these days. It'd be nice to have a name to put with it. I imagine it'd keep up with the cold temperature theme, but it would be nice. And as for Vegeta wanting to fight Frost, I know this kind of was a case where it fits Vegeta's character. It's in his character to kind of have skewed priorities when it comes to a fight. But him wanting to allow Frost to stay in the match and him pretty much forcing Piccolo to forfeit just so he can fight Frost, it really put Universe 7's team at an even greater disadvantage than they already had. And it does, because Vados even pointed that out to Champa. Universe 6 has the edge because of Vegeta's insistence on fighting Frost. But then again, that's in Vegeta's character, but it doesn't make it any less frustrating. And I'm sure the Piccolo fans are bummed out that Piccolo didn't get to fight more in the tournament, but at least Piccolo did give his all in it. So overall, there were some parts I liked and didn't like, and I'm willing to look forward to seeing how Vegeta does against Frost and the others, or seeing how the dub portrays. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing more of how the dub is going to go about the rest of the tournament. So I'm looking forward to it, and I'll be sure to tell you about my thoughts for the next episode next week. Take care, and until next time.